Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast.
Sparky Coach podcast. It's Cam here with Joey. Hope you're well. We are doing another lounge podcast, and we want to have a look at working for the right people. Who are your clients that you're working for? Who are your customers that you want to be working for? Finding the right people. And I think this is really important because often I'm going to say that a bad client or working for someone who is really terrible, you're actually better off having no work. And this can be compounded a number of ways. You might be working for someone who doesn't value you. So in turn, you're essentially doing a heap of stuff for free. You might be working for someone who doesn't value you in the sense of what you're actually worth is. So in an hourly rate sense, you might be working for someone who is always arguing with you around the cost of things, and it's a drain. You could be working for someone who is just disorganized. So there are probably a few items that come to mind around, hey, the wrong client and the effect it can have on you and the energy sapping. And I don't want to focus too much around the negative side of it all. I want to focus on, hey, how do we go about getting the right clients? So first and foremost, when I look at the right side of, or finding the right type of client is, I think you need to define what that right client looks like for you, what the right client looks like for you. So who they are, what they look like, touch and feel sort of sense. And I think if you can define that particular person or particular business, it makes things a lot easier to then go after more of those type of people. So obviously, if you've been in business for a little bit, a really easy thing to do, and actually not even for a little bit, like if you've only been in business for 5 minutes, you've probably worked for some people, or you would have worked for some people. Really easy thing to do is like, right, who did I enjoy working for the most? And the enjoyment could be coming from a number of areas. So the enjoyment, I really liked that type of work. That's the work that I'm really good at. I feel really comfortable in that space. And that can come through from an expertise point of view. That's what I've done my whole life. That's what I like doing. It may come through from that they were a satisfaction level. So you were satisfied around the outcomes and the way that you're able to finish the job. So job satisfaction level. It may come from a level of, hey, I felt really comfortable in that space. I knew what I was doing. I knew my shit, so to speak, and I got it done, and I got it done really well.
Yes.
It could be in the sense of, hey, that's just overall was an experience that I loved. And I think we can all quite simply define them, because I think we should be like, hey, I didn't like that, but I did like this. So Joey, I want to throw over to you quickly before we dive a little bit deeper. What ticked your sort of boxes in regards to, hey, I liked this because of this, or I was satisfied because of this? What were the sort of boxes that you looked to tick to define what we would call a client that was of a level of, hey, we wanted to be working for them?
When, again, this evolved. This will always evolve, depending on the size of your business. When it's just you, or like when it's just me, it was the work I enjoyed doing, for one. And whether at Lunch and Smoko, if you wanted to sit with them at Lunch and Smoko or not. Like if you got a builder, this is a really good indicator. And it comes to Lunch and Smoko and you're looking at ways not to sit next to them on site, they're probably not an ideal client. but just finding guys I enjoyed working with. Now, obviously, as your team grows and stuff like that, there is different people enjoy working with different people. So we found in a way of, for me, was what challenged me. I liked that. Because I've been in the industry a while, and if you're in one set of work for a while, it does get a bit mundane. And roughing in a house is roughing in a house. No matter how high end or low end, roughing in a house is roughing in a house. So for me, it was finding, personally in the end, work that challenged me. So that's why we dived into the level 2 space and clients in that area. Because for me, doing a house start to finish got boring, and I wanted something that was a little bit more challenging. So I found ideal clients in that scenario to give me that satisfaction.
Yeah. And that works in the sense of because there was variables at play. So there was sort of essentially no two jobs. I'm not going to say no two jobs were the same, because I can tell you a new property poll is going to be pretty similar most times, but there's elements of the influences at play, that the type of the block that you're working on, the locations, all those sorts of bits and pieces, that there's more variables at play.
I enjoyed the heights. I enjoyed climbing the pole and being up in the pole, and just, I think for me, that was what I enjoyed more than drilling noggins and clipping cables.
Yeah, no, I like that. So I think they're that highlights, and I want to dive into what I sort of call the gold star, gold standard client. So I want to define this first and foremost. So Joey's touched on it there a little bit around the type of work. So gold star is the type of work that you're looking at doing. So in that instance, level 2, for example, project, residential, project, commercial, service and maintenance, resi, service and maintenance, business to business. We could continue, hazardous areas, for example. Like there's many, many different areas with the type of work that you're looking at. So the gold star. Then you move over to the gold standard. So the standard is looking at where the alignment, so to speak, and Joey did touch on it there. Like if you're looking to avoid sitting down with and having lunch with them, I think it's a little bit of an indicator around it all. And I think it's perfectly okay to understand and be cool with the fact you're not going to gel with everyone in the world, right? That's just a reality of it. That's a reality of life. And I think if you understand that from the get-go, it's okay. It's all right. Now, you may have people that you gelled with once who you may no longer gel with as well. And there could be a number of circumstances associated with that. It could be the journey that you're on in business versus the journey that they're on in business. It could be the journey on just in generally in life that you are on versus that they're on. And it's often the little things that probably have a big influence around that. So we want to have a look at some different gold star and gold standard influence around this, the influences around what can affect it. So I want to highlight by saying that there's gold, silver, and bronze on each level. So gold star, gold standard, right? It's going to be not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to say it's going to be unlikely that you're going to land your gold star, gold standard for the very first client that you have. So there's probably going to be tiers along the way. So you could have a gold star client. This is the type of work I like doing. But over time, they might slip down from a gold to a silver to a bronze, right? Influences at play around that could be they're paying, they pay slower, difficult to deal with, disorganized, all those sorts of bits and pieces associated with it. Or it could be quite simply that the way that your business has evolved is that it's not the type of work that you are really interested or equipped to do. And I think that's understanding that is really important also.
I also just want to chime in. You can have a gold star with a bronze standard. Like they're not equal to each other. So you can have a bronze star, like work you don't want to do, but you can have like a platinum or a gold client. Like it could be really crap work that you don't enjoy doing, but the client, on the other hand, pays well, pays on time, variations are great, easy to deal with, not always rushing you. Like I think it's awesome and great to have gold and gold, but sometimes you need bronze and gold. Like it's
Yeah, you
just
need to understand where that sits. And the other thing too is around that is that what someone might deem as gold star, another person may deem as bronze, for example. So you may love doing this particular type of work, but another staff member that you have may not, and vice versa. They may love doing that type of work, but you don't. So just having an understanding around that. So, you know, who you are and what do you do best? So Joey did touch on that before. What do you want to be doing? How do you want to be doing that work, and who do you want to be doing it for as such? So understanding that part of a thing is really important, because then what will happen over time is you will start to attract the people within your business who are like-minded, and then in turn the efficiencies start to come because they're well trained, well equipped, and doing what they like to be doing. And I think this is really important to understand, is that if you've ever experienced it before, and I think the easiest point to reference is yourself, is if you're doing work that you're not enjoying, right? The impact that has on other aspects.
yes, massively. And how you react to the client, in all honesty. Because if you're doing crap work that you don't enjoy doing, it's going to piss you off. And then you might have a gold client in that area, but they're going to start pissing you off because the work you're doing for them is not what you want to do.
Which I think is fair. What does your company, do you have a value system? Every company has a value system, even if it's not written down.
Mm-hmm.
What do you stand for? What's your ethos? What's your statement? And one thing that Crowley's banged on about in the past is around just your 10 commandments, and I've also banged on about it a little bit as well. So, what do you stand for as a company, and what are you looking to achieve out of it, and what do we want to be? I think it's really important when you have a bit of clarity around that. It then helps you guide you in a direction.
It'll also guide you to certain clients. So, looking at it in a way, like if you're starting out and you want to grow to, let's say, 10 staff, okay, and you pick up a builder, for instance, that again is starting out and wants to grow to 10 staff. Great relationship. Build together, I think, is very important. But then you also will come across the builder that is just starting out but doesn't want anyone else. Like it's just them. So they'll stick with one trader the whole time.
100%.
It's important to identify those relationships early for those clients, because especially if you have you're both new businesses with goals where you want to head that are very similar, you can grow together with that goal instead of having to find someone at the end once you hit that percentage.
So I think often also too is it's very easy as the business owner to call out your customer or client as a dickhead. And I think sometimes a little bit of self-reflection can sometimes point back to maybe you were a bit of a dickhead. Maybe you were difficult to deal with. Maybe you had the wrong attitude. Now, this could be circumstantial. So it's not to say that this is all the time. It could just be a time or stage of life. You could have had a baby, or you could have something happening that externally influenced your life that had an impact around that, which then in turn made you difficult to deal with. So I think one of the key things here I want to touch on around what you're sort of standing for as a business is you want to be good to deal with. Like you want to be straightforward to deal with and easy to deal with. And that doesn't mean you have to be bent over and walked on like a doormat. It's that, hey, we're easy to deal with in the sense of, hey, if there needs to be a site meeting, I can make it to the site meeting.
Yes.
If there needs to be some changes, I can happy to make the changes. If there's a variation that needs to be done, we're happy to do the variation. No one wants to hear the old, "Ugh, what do you mean? Like we talked about that 6 weeks ago," sort of thing. They're quite literally paying you to get you to do item A. I've never really understood the mindset around of being inconvenienced to do something when someone's paying you to do that particular job. Like I look at it really simply. Like if they ask you to move that light 8 times,
It's fine.
and they
Move it.
pay you for it, just keep moving it. Like it's okay. Like just relax, just chill out.
Yes, you get that a lot in the project architect space. But yeah, I think people having the importance on they're paying you is very key in a lot of scenarios. That they're okay to make and change decisions as long as, again, process eliminates emotion.
Mhm.
I think with that scenario, when you've got a gold star client, like gold star, gold standard client, and your staff's getting frustrated, it could be because there's not a process there to handle the changes that that client's putting in.
100%. And I do want to touch on this here is that I strongly recommend that you document every change that's occurred,
Mm-hmm.
right? Doesn't mean you need to charge for every single change,
No.
right? So if someone's asked you to move a light a meter, right? I'm going to argue that that's probably not worth chasing, right? Or not worth billing them for, right? However, what it does is it gives you the ability to be like, oh, hey, these are all the things that we've done. These are the things that we've charged for. These are the things we haven't charged for, right? So it offers some perspective for the particular client to understand, to be like, oh, yeah, that's fair enough. That's okay. That makes sense.
As we touched on a little bit earlier, was client-tradie relationships a two-way street. And I think it's as that simple as that. You give some, you take some, and it works, builds the relationship.
100%. And I think you can clearly identify and clearly probably envisage who your ideal sort of clients are, who your great customers are. So they're the people you want to continue to keep working for. One really important thing I feel, and I feel really strongly about this, is can they give you repeat work? Right? I feel really, really strongly about this because, like I've touched on previously, is client acquisition is it's
Huge.
tough. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of effort. So if you just nurture your existing clientele and they continue to give you repeat work, that's amazing. So what it does is it reduces administration time. It reduces potential marketing costs.
Yes.
It reduces the finding work consistently avenue in regards to consistently feeling like you're on a treadmill, always hunting for it all. When the clients are coming, clients are coming in.
Yeah, it also reduces the capacity it takes to keep a relationship, build a relationship. Like, I think that's a very undervalued, underestimated part of new clients is learning how they work and them learning how you work. Like, that's a very understated cost of having to acquire new clients all the time.
So giving you repeat work and then making the work profitable. Super key work. So super key here. So understanding what that client's giving you and making sure that it's profitable. So there's no point being busier than a one-arm brickie if it's not profitable. I think that's really, really important. So where the importance comes into it here is measuring the jobs and understanding it all. And one thing that comes in here, and I know Crow is very passionate about this work, is the cost plus space. So understanding your numbers and understanding that cost plus work is amazing and can be amazing as long as you understand where your numbers are sitting. Right?
Yeah. And this might be a deal breaker. Like, you might really enjoy the work. You might really enjoy working with the client. But if they're a company that has set rates and are not willing to move on those set rates, that client has to go.
Particularly if it's not profit. We're talking the not profitability side of things.
I'm not talking like it might be a set rate where you're profitable at 18, 17%. Like, yes, it's not the ideal. But if they're giving you a ton of work and you enjoy working it, again, it's up to weighing it up.
Weighing it up. And it just sits within, where does it sit within your business ecosystem to make things easy? So the profitability is really important. Measuring of your jobs and understanding where they're sitting at is really, really important. Do they pay on time? Now,
Yeah.
I'll talk from firsthand experience here. If someone is paying you on time or ahead of time, you will literally jump through hoops to work with them.
Yes.
If someone doesn't pay you, it and they drag out the payments or they miss them or there's always an excuse and that sort of stuff, there's a resentment that builds with them, right? And you're unwilling to be of assistance to them just naturally. So understanding that they're a good payer and understanding the importance around that hey, I'm happy to bend over for them. The other thing too here I want to highlight is that I would say generally speaking around these sort of the profitability, the paying on time, giving you the repeat work side of it all, being aligned in values, all of those will generally lead to the jobs being relatively profitable because there's a streamlined process to the jobs occurring and that there's a general uplift of the mood and enjoyment on the job across the board.
Absolutely.
Across the board. And this goes for the way people are treated, the way people are paid, all sorts of bits and pieces across the board. So there's lots of extenuating circumstances that affect that. So don't underestimate that. They're generally easy and good to deal with. That's what you want. You want to be generally easy and good to deal with. And like I touched on with your company, like you want to work for people who you relate to. You want to be easy and good to deal with. And then you can have the big conversations with them.
Yeah.
So when we deal in the big conversations, is that, hey, if that is a big change and a big diversion from what was originally on the scope, that we can sit there and have a conversation around, hey, there's going to have to be a change in costings here because we've got 30 meters extra of mains now, right? Or we've completely changed this here. Some conversations that we've had in the past with our good clients is that, hey, this was the original scope. It is nothing like it was originally. Let's nail down the scope, right? And let's re-quote this in a sense of, hey, this is what it was, this is what it is now. So we need to the difference between where it was and where it's landed now. We're talking massive differences. So impacting is like we're going with completely different light fittings. We're going with a completely different lighting layout. We want Zeta PowerPoints over half the house now instead of normal PowerPoints. So there was a element of disconnection on the client's front, right? And we've had this experience before, and you just have the conversation with them, and it's fine. People understand it. You sit down, you communicate it with the end customer at the end of the day who's getting the building, so to speak, or whatever it is. And they generally speaking, there's two things that occur here. One is that they just had no idea, right? They were like just basically, I call it like Instagram shopping. I like this, I want that, I want this, I want that. It all looks amazing. And then the decision is left up to them whether they want to continue with it all or they want to pare it back. And this is where you can use your expertise and your knowledge and understand it to be like, hey, look, as good as that PowerPoint looks, it's going to be sitting behind the couch. So no one's ever going to see it. So do you really want that there? And you can go through and point it out. Some people want it, and that's fine. That's up to them. I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm just here to offer the advice to them, particularly if there's a crunch on the numbers side of things. So you're having the big conversations with them.
Yeah, and I think, again, big conversations are a two-way street. It's how you approach it, and it's how the client approaches it as well. And I think coming into those big conversations, if you're ill or unprepared for those big conversations, it's going to make them harder. So, like we had one recently where it could have gone fairly pear-shaped, but we came in with, we tried to figure out what all their questions would be in the pre-fund. Mm-hmm. Why it's changed to this, why we need to go to that, and da-da-da-da. And we came in with an avenue of this is the way we see it from our end. And then we asked them questions about how they see it from their end. So if you have that conversation, a big conversation, you're expected to be a one-way street. That big conversation, even though that client might be amazing, is going to be hard.
100%. And I think also too addressing it as soon as possible. So don't let it build.
Yeah.
If there's an issue, it needs to be addressed so that you can get the answers and get the outcomes that are needed. Because if there's a problem, it's just going to continually fester on and build and the resentment will start to occur. So the final sort of one that you look at is that, and we've really already touched on it here, or one area is that you're happy to work at their jobs.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it around it all. And I think it's about understanding where they sit in the ecosystem around things, and having an understanding that, hey, are they good to work for? Is it good work? Is it repeat work? And look, I think you can get your customer or your client who can be perceived sometimes as difficult.
Mm.
But I think if you take a long lens out from it and have a look at it, they're not being difficult. They're just wanting to make the best decisions and get the best outcome for them, and they're making them on the fly, right? So there's a difference between that situation. And what I'll reference it to is generally speaking, it's the customer who changes their mind or makes changes on the fly, right? Now, these customers are generally speaking high net worth clients. So whether they're a business or an individual, they generally have multiple jobs going on at any one time, whether you're involved with every single one or not, but they've got their hands full across, well, their fingers in a number of pies is probably a way to describe it, right? Now, they have a lot going on, so their decision making may seem ad hoc, but generally what it is they're devoting an element of time to that particular job and making decisions on A, B, C, D, E, right? And they will be more than happy, generally speaking, to understand that there's going to be a cost associated with it, right? Or there's going to be a slight alternative difference to it all. So I think it's understanding, embracing it, and communicating that to your team to be like, hey, we get a lot of work out of this person every single year, or these particular clients every single year. Yes, they're going to make changes. We understand that from the get-go. Yes, there's going to be things that are going to be last minute as well, but understanding that and preparing for it and allowing for it all. So being like, okay, cool, we've got fit off happening in 2 weeks' time. We roughly know that there's going to be a few things that need to be done. We need to get on the front foot and be like, hey, what else needs to be done? Is there anything else you're looking at that needs to be done? Do you need that TV mounted? Do you need this done? Because often they're looking at a turnkey solution to get the outcomes that they're looking for.
And I think if you can put all the effort into providing that, even difficult clients become easy to work for.
100%. A lot of it's just taking it away from the on-site, the on-site perceived issue to making it a off-site or office issue and being on the front foot. A lot of the time, it's just a little bit of love and care, ultimately, at the end of the day.
A lot of the time, bad clients are produced because of bad process. And it all comes down to a misunderstanding somewhere because something wasn't communicated properly. And I think having that process and that communication set in place can also create a good client out of a bad one.
100%. So having a look at where your clients sit at, where you want to get them from, who you want to be working for, gold star, gold standards, where you're working towards, obviously. Unlikely that they're going to be there from day one, right? But you can work towards them and build with them. And you will find them. I guarantee you will find them. And I think it's really important to understand that if you have some average to poor clients, that they're better than having no work at all. They're worse than having no work at all. So understanding that, hey, it's okay to let them go. Mm-hmm. It's okay to move forward. It's okay to find new opportunities and new people to work for out there. You got any closing thoughts, Joey?
Probably one of my key closing thoughts would clients will change as your business change. Like we had a client where we had a lot of volume of work when we were down south with them. Like it's a national client, I'm talking, not mum and dad client. They work nationally. But in our region down south, they had lots of work. Wasn't great, huge dollar amounts. Like it was profitable, but not extremely profitable. When we moved up here, the volume of work they had in the North Coast compared to the South Coast of New South Wales was hugely different. So therefore they weren't a gold client anymore. Because the volume of work for the money that we were getting wasn't worth it. So I think it's important, again, comes back to monitoring jobs, monitoring profitability, and seeing where they sit in your business ecosystem.
I like it. It's nice. Get out there, try and find some gold star, gold standard clients. If a big conversation needs to be had, have that conversation with that particular client. If something needs to be done to change what you're doing, make sure you put a change in place. Get active, be proactive about it all. If you need to make that phone call, make that phone call. Enjoy whatever you're up to, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thanks for tuning in as always. And it's peace out from myself and peace out from Joey. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules, be kind. See you soon.